Well, as you may recall, if you're a long time subscriber, the radio rally I went to recently, I picked up the 3CB radios, and in amongst it was this box, an Amiga Icon 2 multiband radio. And interestingly enough, it does airband, marine band and citizen band channels 1 to 80. I'll say it was in the box, so it just came into my possession. And we've got the unit in there. We've got a rubber duck style type aerial. We've got the instruction manual. And we've also got a 12-month guarantee. There's no details on there. Must be an old one though, because it says enclose a £5 cheque or postal order payable to Alftone Electronics Limited to cover packaging, return, carriage and insurance. So there's no internet on there. So it's pre-internet. Ah, the good old days of postal orders and sending off cheques. So we've got the world's biggest instruction manual here. Oh, it hasn't just got an aerial, it's got a rod antenna. Oh, that's what I'm going to refer to it now, the rod antenna. Could be the Bert antenna or the Pete antenna, but we're going to call it the rod antenna. So remember, rod antenna. And with that, you get the best reception of broadcast. Insert rod antenna into antenna socket. Turn clockwise for installation and counterclockwise for taking off. Okay. So this is our frequency range. It's got even more on it. So we've got CB radio 1 to 80, TV1 58 to 87 megahertz, FM 88 to 108, so it's just a normal radio as well. Airband 110 megahertz to 136 megahertz. I don't know what PB is, don't know, or marine band 137 to 175, and WB, I don't know what that is, 162.5. And it takes 6, oh no, hang on, DC power supply is 6 volts, so that's not that many batteries. Double A size. Oh, 6 volts, yeah. That makes sense. They're 1.5 each, so 4 of them is 6 volts. And then on the back, we've got it in what appears to be French, possibly? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now, upon opening this unit up, I took the battery cover off. As you can see on the picture on the screen, it's very corroded down in that terminal. And also on the other side here. So I think the first job we've got to do is get the fiberglass brush and give that area a damn good clean. And there's also a tiny bit on the side of here that we want to get off as well. So let me go and get the brush and we'll give it a go. Right, I've got the brush, so I'll just expose some of the bristles. Then all we're going to do is just rub it around in there a little bit. See if we can get some of this crud off. So I'm going to let myself do that and I'll be back when it's done, because you don't want to watch that, that'll be a bit boring. So both this single one and the 2 doubles there have cleaned up beautifully. I used the fiberglass brush as mentioned, and then I went over them with some IPA and an earbud or cotton tip or Q-tip, whatever you want to call them, it's earbuds to me, and cleaned all it off, and yeah, that looks nice. So let's find some batteries, we'll put them in and see if this thing fires up. So I've got the 4 batteries. This is where we find the thing doesn't work at all. I'm hoping it fires up. Right, here we go in. put it there. Right, the moment of truth. Turn the squelch down. Will it fire up? And the answer is no. Great. Hang on. We haven't got a dodgy battery, have we? No. Right. We're going to... No, it's definitely no power. We're going to have to venture in. So I can't see why, if we've got... These are brand new batteries, so I know they're okay. Looks like there's 4 screws to get in. So we'll take the aerial out and I'll undo them and come back when we're opening up to go in. Right, we're ready to venture in. Oh my God. Yeah, it may just be as simple as that. I don't know if you can see that or not. Let me get a picture and I'll put it up on the screen now. Can you see what I'm looking at? So that is the positive battery lead, which then runs up onto the board. Now I don't want to start taking all the board out, but I think as a good starting point, we probably haven't got a good connection there. So we'll clean all that up and IPA it. See whether we get a better connection. The negative one looks good. And then what we'll do, we'll probe across those to check we got the right voltage. Right. So let's probe and see what we've got battery wise. I've cleaned that up the best I can now. So we got 5.26. Okay. Let's try. I can get probes to stay on. So as soon as we turn it on, we drop down to 1.75 volts. So we got a short somewhere. How weird. Okay. So what is shorting? Interesting. Right. Turn on. 1.4. So we've got a massive power drain somewhere. So I'm going to have to pop that board out to have a look what's going on. I suspect a diode or transistor has gone, but I have no circuit diagram. Whether or not I can find one, I don't know. I'll have a look online and see what I can come up with. Right, I've managed to get the board out of here. So you had to pull both knobs up at the top here to release the board at the top. And then there was 2 screws that fitted down the bottom of the board here. Then I had to pull the board to the left, that way, and slide it out. The positive wire has broken off of there. The soldering there's crap, so we need to clean that again. So what I did is I followed the positive wire up on the board, and then I followed the track along, and it went to the earphone socket. And then from the earphone socket, it continued on, and it went to... The battery just went flat. So I followed it up to the earphone socket, then it went up to a couple of 220 microfarad capacitors. Just desoldered the first one, so I'm going to bung that in the tester and see if that's any good, because it could be that one of these caps has gone up the chute. So let's see what we get for this. So it's 220 microfarads, and we get 616.2 microfarads. So that capacitor, to coin a phrase, is toast. So I think we should desolder the other one as well and test that. And then the first start is we'll replace both of those, resolder on the red wire, and then see if this thing springs into life. But being that's the first component on from the earphone socket, it could well be a factor. So I've got to check now if I've got any 220 microfarad capacitors. This is 10 volts, so anything like a 16 or a 25 would do. So I'll head off to stores. I'm going to make a little diagram first of which orientation these go round. We'll go from there, but yeah, at least we found something. So on this radio I'm working without a schematic, so we're sort of having to make it up a bit as we go along. So let's put the other capacitor in that I've desoldered. These are just 220. And we get 875 microfarads for a 220 microfarad. So both of them capacitors are shot. That's the worst capacitor I've ever had. 220 microfarad reading 875. Those two are completely dead. So let's get them resoldered in and we'll try. I suspect someone's probably reverse polarityed the 6 volt connector and got it round the wrong way. That's probably what's happened. Right, the two capacitors are in. I've just taken the opportunity also. I desoldered the red battery wire from here to the board. I've replaced it with a purple new piece of wire. But the battery tab had this like lump of, it was solder and plastic mixed together on the tab and I couldn't get it off. So I ended up scraping it with a screwdriver and I managed to get it off. I've cleaned up all the tab and I've got a fresh batch of solder on. So it's now time for the grand reveal. Oh, hang on, that's the squelch. 3, 2, 1. Will it have worked? Oh, yes. Listen. We have sound. Oh, my God. So, on the face of it, it looks like two dodgy capacitors. And that was it. Does the squelch work? It appears to. Right, so the next job I'm going to do then, I'm going to put switch cleaner in these switches. Clean them up. I'll quickly IPA the board. Give that a once over. We'll get this thing back together and see if it fires up and receives. Yes, another good one. So just before I put this back together, you can see the little LED there now. Watch. And then if we turn it off, brilliant. Right, so I've deoxidized. I'm just trying to get all this back together now. Put all the screws in, line it all up. I'm not too happy with the way the cables have... I read up on the internet that a lot of people whinge and moan about the sensitivity of these, and obviously they've got a little rubber duck aerial on the top. And I didn't know this, but look what happens if you do this. You end up with this massive aerial, which means reception is a lot better. Now, I expect there's going to be some owners out there who've just been using the rubber duck, because I had no idea that that did that. I thought that was just a rubber duck antenna, but no. It pulls out into a bigger telescopic aerial, so that improves reception no end. So let's have a look on here and see what's going on.
Unfeelish. Yeah, we think it works so perfectly as a descriptor.
So this is radio, so that's FM radio.
The parents. Yeah.
Sounds quite good, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, thank you for that. I think it's absolutely, I think it's feelish.
No problem. Yeah. Right, obviously she's very happy about being on the channel. So that's FM radio. Let's have a listen to the air band.
West of the subject, it's about 2 miles. It's about the 180 towards their back.
That's quite clear.
Level 290, heading 215. Where's your head 5 of extra? 24625, leave landline heading 225, speed 250 knots to head 5 of extra, thank you.
Well, a few bits on here, but not...
Level 370, just say those 2 points for me again, please. Down the hill, I'll go around this one. That's by the level 160. Formation, we're going to break formation. The two other aircraft will depart the home bases and the lead aircraft will go back out towards 706. Nana 05, China 551, goodbye.
Right, let's have a look at the CB band. Bit of sideband. It's obviously up round the 555. Cambio. So, some Italians. Probably running about 1,000 watts. So what else we got on here? Let's go right up the top past the personal band, or whatever it's called, I don't know, business band.